If you want to write Captain America, you don't have to love America. You don't even really have to like it, I guess. You just don't have to hate America, because I don't know what Marvel Comics are doing, but every time they put new writers on Captain America, you find out in very short order that they don't like America very much. And when Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly were put on the book, I said, there's no way this is going to be good. I've read enough of their comic books to know that this is going to be dookie. These guys absolutely hate America. Are they from Portland? Likely. Do I need to even look at the bio? Not really. I know exactly who these guys are. They're like 75% of the comic book writing talent pool available today. And I said Captain America Sentinel of Liberty would absolutely be garbage. It would be woke garbage. And shockingly, I'm right again. When I'm right, I'm always right. At issue 4 of Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, out on Wednesday, they did exactly what I said they were going to do. Captain America is going to be in community college learning how to use Procreate, because he's an artist at heart and he's trying to discover himself. And then he's going to have a bunch of 20-something-year-old losers who've done nothing with their lives that are in community college try and tell him how the world works. And that's exactly what happens. I guess I wasn't all the way right, because I didn't foresee this happening. We also get these dipshits like talking about the military and how the military works. And really, if you were in the military, you supported socialism. My goodness, sons. If you guys only knew what the military was all about, I am going to school you fools. Because this argument, which I've heard plenty of times being in the military, lots of dumb shits like to tell me, you were a part of socialism. That is the easiest argument in the world to destroy, which I will do when it comes up. Let's have a peek at old Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, which shockingly hasn't tanked in sales like the Falcon Cap series has. But after this issue, I will be shocked if this thing doesn't drop right out of the top 80 within a couple of issues. This thing is absolute garbage. Let's look at the first page where Captain America gets schooled by some community college morons. Cap asks, what does the shield mean to you? And the sage old black man says, you mean besides being a real son of a bitch to render properly? And the stoner says, I mean, it means America, right? The stars and stripes, forever, Yankee Doodle Dandy. And then, of course, blue-haired Karen has to jump in. Left and right, red, white, and blue. I get mine, you get yours. Don't tread on me nonsense. Sage black man says, Mia, you really gonna badmouth the American dream in front of Steve? Might as well slap his mama while you're at it. Blue-haired Karen. Oh, whatever. Steve knows. He's been fighting white supremacists longer than we've been alive. Cap says, so it's a symbol of corruption. Sage black man. And injustice, sure, but also hope. Stoner says, it says help is on the way, bro. Blue-haired Karen. Yeah, like that one right there. But come on, man. You spent a century carrying that thing. You know how much it means to folks. I think the real question here, Steve-O, is what does the shield mean to you? I bet Steve Rogers has never, ever in his life thought about, what does the Captain America shield mean to you? I mean, this is very contemplative. I've never thought about it. I've only been saving the galaxy and the freaking world and America for countless decades now using it. He's only been associated with the military for 80 years. I bet he's never wondered, what does that symbol mean to me? What am I fighting for? This is all so deep stuff. I have fucking Portland morons writing the story. What am I going to do now? But that's like the good part of the story. That's actually the good stuff. That's not nearly as bad as what happens next, because Steve, he needs to contemplate this. He's been asked some real hard questions. He's never thought about what America means and what the old stars and stripes mean to him and what it could mean that he's been fighting for all this stuff. That question has never been posed to him in his entire life. He's never thought about it, like while sitting on a bench or anything. So he needs to go to his favorite watering hole where a local drunk anarchist really sets him straight. It's about change, Cap. First we eat the rich, then we save the damn planet, Cap says. Afraid cannibalism isn't going to do much for our position, Arlo. It ain't cannibalism, Cap. It's a way of thinking. This neighborhood started as slave country in the 1700s. Over 40% of households in New York City actually had slaves. Then it was gangland, all the mobsters getting theirs while the little guy got scraps. Then it was a triangle shirtwaist fire. 146 people dead over some profit margins. But that's the point of the law, isn't it? To kill people and keep people in slavery? Like Captain America's never had a fucking debate in his life. Like he doesn't know how to talk to an idiot. Get out of here with this stuff. But that's the point of the law, isn't it? To square up reality and our ideals. They want all these socialist reforms. Why not wait and let the system do its job? Wow, Rogers, for a man out of history, you sure don't understand it. The system didn't outlaw slavery. The system didn't get rid of the mob. And it sure as hell didn't fix the profit margins. Those stars and stripes didn't save anyone. You know who did? The little guy. I hate to break it to this guy, but President Lincoln is the one that freed the slaves, and he certainly wasn't the little guy. He was the president of the United States of America. I would say this is a stand-in character for Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly. That's why Steve Rogers can't defend himself or have an actual coherent conversation and just poke holes in this guy's arguments left and right because they're so stupid. The authors wouldn't let Captain America actually argue with them. It's like, why do you even write the comic book? Shocking that Marvel Comics once again dropped the ball on Captain America, but somehow it actually gets worse and more stupid. And you want to come into Union Bar and talk socialism? Then let's get something straight. Socialism has been a part of this country since the revolution. One place in particular, actual that you'll be very familiar with, the military. Your needs are met, your pay is low, but you're doing something for the greater good, so it all balances out. Soldiers might be living in defense of capitalism, but they sure as hell aren't practicing it. I've heard this argument a lot of times, and I guess probably at one point you could call it more social. I mean, there's a whole lot of tyranny that goes on with being in the military. I'm not going to deny that, and that's certainly associated with socialism. So I could see that point there, but there's one problem with this idiot's logic. Since 1973, there's been no draft. It's an all-volunteer military at this point. You sign the contract, and it has the specifications of what you're going to do. And guess what? It's not all that nice. Most people wouldn't like being in the military. Most people wouldn't want to be in my position where literally someone else can go tell me, like, you're going to go over there, and you might get shot, and you might die. But you can't say no, because if you do, you're going to go to prison. And the idea that the military is just all like socialism, yes, there is a rank structure. Technically, when I was like an E5 staff sergeant, you could say based on like the pay structure that I got paid the same amount as the guy that worked in the cafeteria. But that's not actually the case because I had highly technical skills. And the military, in order to keep me and other people like me, they had to give me something else, not just regular pay, lots of bonus pay, because I wouldn't have signed up to stay around if I could just go into the private sector and make more money and not have to deal with people shooting at me. Now, is that for everybody? No, obviously, some skill sets in the military, like if you're driving a tank or whatever, doesn't exactly translate to the market outside of the military itself. So you probably don't get bonuses and stuff like that. The military, while it might have some structure that you would like to think is socialism, there's a lot of stuff about it that absolutely is not. But there is a lot of tyranny. I can't deny that. I actually had a friend, he got called up on his day off, and they said, you're going to the airport, and you're leaving for 6 months. And he said, what about my apartment? And they said, we're going to take care of it for you. And there's nothing he could say about it. He went to the airport, he flew, and they shipped his clothes to him and his uniforms. Absolutely insane. Most people wouldn't want to put up with that. Cap says, all right, Arlo, so what's the play? Am I supposed to take everything this country gave me and shove it back in their face? Use it to disassemble everything I know? Anarchist Arlo says, you use your power however damn well you please. And since you're a good man, you'll use it to help the most people. Because if I know anything, it's this. Just because they made you, sure as hell don't mean they owed you. Well, I hate to break it to this guy, but once you sign that dotted line, your ass belongs to them, and they pretty much do own you. Like I said, they literally sent my buddy out with no notice. I got like 3 days notice. They're like, your replacement can't make it. You're going to stay another 6 months in Afghanistan. It's an all-volunteer military, has been for 50 years, at least in the United States. Obviously, in other countries, it's not the same. Other countries, there are conscription services and stuff like that where they force you into it. I say, if you want to hear about how socialism works, go talk to people that joined the military before 1973, specifically ones that never asked to go. Ask them if it was a good experience being thrown into that tyranny, not of their own free will. And I bet you, I just got a hunch that an overwhelming majority of them were not very happy that they were forced to do something that they didn't want to do. Basically, they had their freedom taken away. And that, kids, in a nutshell, is what socialism is. This isn't the first time Marvel Comics has crapped all over Captain America in the last few years. It wasn't even Ta-Nehisi Coates that did it the worst. In my opinion, it was Christopher Cantwell with his United States of Captain America, issue #1, where basically Steve Rogers took an enormous dump on America and everything he had ever fought for his entire life. This was absolutely disgusting. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this out. If you're on a mobile device, there's a link in the video description.